Damaged Goods is a classic from 4chan's supposed golden age, where a registered male nurse, hereby dubbed Nurse-Kun, asked B for advice when his boring everyday life in a nursing home was interrupted by the arrival of a badly hurt 7-year-old girl. At first, he merely thought this was an interesting anecdote, flavoring it to get the attention of the fucked up B-tards known as Anonymous. But in an uncharacteristic change of heart, some Anons pressed him to actually help the little girl out. As the events unfold, the magic of the story somehow enchanted the cold heart of Anonymous. The people famous for mercilessly crushing 12-year-old girls convinced Nurse-Kun to grant the broken soul one friend in the world, and to save her from an unfortunate end. One thing led to another, and for once, the legions of Anonymous found themselves giving the little girl something to smile about. It does more than just tell a riveting tale about one guy and a girl. It gives a window into what 4chan was, what this influential community became, and what this site truly meant to the users who lurked and posted at that time. As a preface, the story, at least initially, is not for the faint of heart. There are references to doing acts that are less than legal, and extremely dark. While the story in all its glory is very wholesome, this is still 4chan, the internet without a filter. As such, some words will be censored so that Susan doesn't come to my home and personally arrest me, even if I'm just retelling a story. And with that, let's begin Damaged Goods. Chapter 1 Byoin Otoko Part 1 December 16th, 2006. B. I need your advice on something, since you're probably the ones most qualified to give it. I'm a nurse orderly at a nursing home. Been there for a year so far. I work the night shift on the West Wing. It's not that tough, since most of the residents are so old and medicated that they sleep the night away, only rarely dying or stroking out or getting up to eat their own poop or something. I usually wind up playing with my DS or reading at the nurse's station for the full 4 hours I'm on watch alone, from 1 to 5. However, a new patient arrived a month ago, which got my attention. A 7-year-old girl that was in a car crash that killed her parents and took her legs, right arm, and right eye. As a ward of the state, and so messed up by all the trauma mentally that no foster parents would touch her, she got sent here when she got out of the hospital. God, she is so cute. She's half Japanese but has blonde hair, and the rest of her body that didn't get cut away is just perfect. She used to be a gymnast, it seems. I've had to answer her call button several times so far, when she's had to use the restroom in the middle of the night, which meant carrying her from her bed to the toilet, then holding her as she used it, and she always looked away from me when she did so, blushing a bit. Voice actor's note. The next paragraph is a reference to a sick running joke on B, popular in 2006, that whenever a B-tart sees a little girl, they probably might rape her. The reason Nurse-Kun posted this is because he mistakenly believed he had to fit in with the legendary fucked up attitude on B to get a response. In later threads, Nurse-Kun proves that the post below did not reflect his actual beliefs or intentions at any point in time. In addition, the outpouring of anger by Anons persuaded him to help the girl out rather than turn a blind eye, and thus a very touching story unfolds out of all of this madness. However, the job of Bibanon is to record people's recollections as they are presented, not to clean them up or for public entertainment. You should take this for what it is. He saw a little girl at his unrewarding, difficult job, but felt it would be too risky to try to help her out in a painful situation. So instead, he decided to come home and vent about it to other anonymous internet users. Anyway, my question. Should I stick it in her pooper, among other things? I mean, she isn't going to be able to resist, and I can go in there when she's asleep, then cover up her good eye and mouth before she even knows I'm there, with all the drugs she's on. She's so messed up mentally that she probably wouldn't tell anyone, considering she's barely talked to all the shrinks they've had her seeing since the accident. I'm a pretty gentle guy, and there's plenty of lube around here, obviously, and it'd be pretty easy to clean her up afterwards too. Anyway, what do you think, B? Picture somewhat related. I don't think you have a job. Enjoy your cripple porn. Come on, guys, I need your help here. You are the cancer that is killing B. If this was even 7 months ago before the summer, you would have either been banned or spammed half to death with Guro. No one who matters gives a shit about your Bosnian bullshit, and B is about the funny, not the drama. Please leave the site now. Leave and never return.
What are you talking about? This shit is actually pretty funny.
B was never funny. It was put your head in your hands and ask God, Ree! I fucking lolled at the should I stick it in the pooper question right out of left field. Well, now that he's asked for a serious reply, it's failing. But it's a pretty good copy pasta itself. This is one of the few situations that I have to say no to. First, she's 7. Ew. Second, she's an amputee. Ew. If 1 and 2 appeal to you, then you have no other valid reason why except that you might lose your job. Didn't include any moral choice since that's probably the least of your worries. Why can't you just get to know her, make her like you, cuddle with her, hug her, sleep in her bed with her? Tell her you love her. Damn it, now I wish I had a half-Japanese amputee to cuddle with. Well, she already has a bit of a reputation around here as a trouble patient, since she becomes really aggressive when she gets frustrated. So she isn't so popular with the rest of the staff, and since she's so young, there's a lot of more reluctance to show any inappropriate affection towards her than, say, to some 90-year-old that thinks Hitler's invading Paris every time she wakes up. The main problem is that she's asleep most of the time, and I have her alone. What should I do? Bullshit. Good story, but no one ever sends an orphan to a nursing home, and if she has to go, they use fucking bedpans. Yeah. They keep orphans with extreme medical and physical care needs in all the orphanages. The ones on every street corner. The ones with qualified nurses and doctors to manage their constant care. And they totally just toss the one-armed girl a bedpan and cut the cord on the call button. Don't try to tell me how the system works, asshole. I'm part of the system, and it doesn't fucking work at all. Pictures are required before further consultation. I haven't taken any pictures yet. Official policy is no photography by the staff for legal reasons. Someone got busted in 2001 for taking pictures of the funny things senile old people do and posting them on the net. And I don't go back to work for another 10 hours, so I have no pictures of her to give you. I'll try to, but they do random searches on our bags since a new policy was enacted in June in reaction to another nurse that was stealing narcotics. Thus, the main reason I've been hesitant up till now. What the fuck is wrong with you? Joking about rape is fine, but actually planning it isn't so funny. I mean, not only has she gone through a lot of trauma, but now you just want to put her through more? And if you gain a relationship with her just to do this, she's going to have major trust issues for the rest of her life. Here's my advice to you. Kill yourself. It would do the world some good. I have to agree with this anonymous if OP is real. My second opinion is that you should fall in love with her and make her life a living paradise. Didn't happen. He's lying. No pics, etc. Just some unimaginably sick, lonely individual making up a story, probably masturbating, like myself, to each reply. The most serious post this anonymous has ever made on B. If you really cared about this little girl's future, you would not rape her. You realize that would fuck up her already fucked up life even more. You'd just be hurting her. Don't nurses have to take the Hippocratic Oath too? I think your only real problem here is the objectification of the girl. I mean, I don't have anything against you wanting to fuck her, that's fine. Rape is bad though, and having sex with a 7-year-old permanently damages them, so don't go through with it. If I had a bone to pick with you so far as morals go, it would be that you need to stop treating her like an object and treat her like a person. Buy her some toys and make the quality of her life better. Wait a few years, and after a real relationship has formed and she's past puberty, then consider sticking it in her pooper. Until then, masturbate. Lots. I think buying toys to someone who spends their days as a cripple in a bed is more of an insult. Also, speaking of permanent damage, she seems pretty wrecked already. So, relative to a normal 7-year-old, the percentual fuck-up factor could in no way be as great even if he raped her in a fully conscious state. The internet is for lulz and rape, but not planning rape IRL. I'd post that picture of the fag from IGN who said, "Rape is just surprise sex, lol," in the barbershop shortly before discovering his barber's daughter had been raped. Online ideas and conversations do not transfer well to IRL. Just to let you know, Anonymous will turn on you harder than you will ever imagine if you're being truthful. We'll hunt you down. Make fun of this if you want, but you won't be safe. Well, fine. If you want honesty, I was kind of hoping more people would tell me not to do it. I mean, hahaha, I'm posting in B, but seriously, I feel bad for her too. Of course, I also feel penis engorged for her because my words cannot convey just how cute and soft and warm she is.
Anon has feelings too. We understand. Don't rape her, befriend her.
There's a difference between wanting to fuck someone until they're blind and what you're describing. You don't want to stick it in her pooper at all. You're feeling something entirely different, aren't you? I suggest finding out what she likes to read, then reading it aloud to her. Gain her trust and adoration, since you know inside you would rather perform a barrel roll than raping a 7-year-old amputee who had just lost her parents. You know what to do. Adopt her? I think it is pretty obvious that God wants you to adopt her and be a good father for her, so you must fight your sinfulness every day, again and again. Yeah, he's into some crazy shit. God! Adoption? Not a bad idea, actually. Seconded. If you're connecting with her, it might do both of you some good to take her in, if you can. And if you still feel the need to fuck her, then it can legally be incest as well. Bonus points. And for all those people telling me to adopt her, I'd love to. She seems like she was a really great kid. Bright, outgoing, cheerful, before the accident. The problem is that people involved in the care of kids in the system often find it way harder to adopt them than someone with a less sterling record from outside the system. It's fucked up, but that's the way it is. You couldn't strike a deal with some good friend or relative of yours then? They adopt, you take care of her?
Morality on my B? What is this shit? If I wanted to learn about conscience, I'd go to my ethics and morality class at school. The internet is for lulz and rape.
Well, the problem is, if I'm nice to her and treat her kindly, more as a friend or father figure, she'd be likely, as a positive effect, to report it to the facility psychiatrist during one of their sessions. In all innocence, who might then feel obligated to report that to the administrator, who would then probably fire me for showing inappropriate affection. Ooh, family services catch-22ism. What, does the staff often just rip the shit out of the patients? What kind of affection are you allowed to show? This seems pretty stupid to me. I mean, she obviously needs some kind of friend. I'm sure your supervisor and her psychiatrist would agree. She sounds like a smart girl, so talk to her as an adult and treat her well. If she knows that you're risking your job to take care of her, she should be smart enough to avoid the topic with the psychiatrist. I mean, if she does start to like you, she'd want you to stay around, right? I've considered that too. I mean, she's actually really smart. Like, she was in a school for the gifted before the accident, and her mother was a child psychologist, so they gave her a lot more freedom and choice than the average kid would get. And she was pretty gifted athletically too, which just makes the whole thing a lot more tragic. Of course, she's also pretty broken now. Extremely withdrawn. Rare she says 3 words the whole day. At the same time, she lashes out at anyone that tries to get too close. She actually bit a psych intern who was trying some play therapy with her in the hospital hard enough to draw blood, before she was transferred here. The real problem is if I were to try and form a bond with her, honestly, I'm afraid she'd do something to get me in trouble just to try and make me leave her alone, even if she really wants some affection. This would be a lot easier if she was less traumatized. Fucking befriend her, fucker. Update a blog about it, and I swear I will make a manga out of it. If it's true, I'm a doujinshi drawing weeaboohoo, and this story is gold drama material. Just think about it. Average B-tard meets a shy, half-Japanese, blonde, cute, one-eyed orphan amputee lolly. This is the new Densha Otoko. The toy thing might be true, though. Let's all think of things someone with one arm and one eye can enjoy. Teddy bears, books, movies. That's all I can come up with. I'm sure the rest of Anonymous has some better suggestions. Def Leppard. Prostheses.
Well, shit. This.
Put her body in a robot and make a lolly mech warrior. Money sign, money sign, money sign. Buy her a Barbie and rip off the legs and right arm and color over the right eye. Buy her a lute. Her hearing is the only thing not affected by the accident, and the lute can be played with one hand. Plus, it's a pretty inexpensive item. You can't play a lute with one hand. Do you even know what a lute is? Be her foster parent. Wait a minute. Male nurse? Gay! Hello, B. I would like to say you all turned into fucking Gaia wusses and failures. Please, everyone who said please don't rape lolly, no like rape GB2 Gaia. My personal suggestion? Music and books. There are plenty of devices that can help someone with one arm keep a book steady and open, etc. Listen to and appreciate different types of music is always an option, and she can still write. If she's as smart as she said, she might be able to vent eventually through writing or drawing. Just give her stimulating, fun, but not patronizing things she can do in this condition. She might never open up to you, but that's okay. You're just trying to help, and it sounds like the rest of the staff really hasn't bothered with this kind of thing. By the way, this scenario involves no rape whatsoever. Best case scenario, she realizes that her life is not over, and she has people around that are genuinely trying to make her happy. I think it's the right time for some Katawa Shoujo. Voice actor's note. A group of Anons who witnessed damaged goods were inspired to create Katawa Shoujo, albeit the end product was based on concept characters from this famous artist's sketch. What the hell? The damaged goods dating sim? Whole thread keeps bringing this shit to mind. Gunslinger Girls. What is that? Seconded. Gunslinger Girls. In that anime, an organization takes unwanted little girls with severe physical problems and rebuilds them into brainwashed cyborg assassins. Sometimes they even get raped, though most of the time it's just mentally. Most of the time. Thanks for delivering. Sounds cool. You know, the main reason I would have not to post pictures is that she's a pretty distinctive girl. I mean, how many half-Japanese, blonde, green-eyed, singular, one-armed and no-legged 7-year-olds are there? That idiot I mentioned before got busted just for posting random old people, and there are millions of those. Just curious, but does she have stumps? Any possibility of her getting at least prosthetic legs? Actually, she gets bused to a rehab facility at the hospital almost every day, where she's learning to use prosthetic legs and an arm. It's like it's the one thing she actually cares about anymore. I hear the staff there are amazed at the progress she's making. It makes sense though, because she really hates her wheelchair. The first time I answered one of her calls at night, I'd wheeled it out to put her in it, since that's the standard procedure, but she asked me not to use it, so I carried her instead. I guess that's the first time I thought about her in an illegal manner, really. Anyways, she wears the prosthetic arm during the day, but I'm not around then, so I've never actually seen her using it. I have seen her in her room, though. It's a nice model, probably the best in the whole facility. I guess her parents had a pretty responsible life insurance policy, so she doesn't have to deal with substandard prosthetics at least. Has a nice prosthetic eye too, looks just like her real one, as much as a fake one can anyway. Of course, the scarring over her eye kind of helps give it away.
Lolly hate rape. Lonely orphan Lolly love caring man. Years later, borderline Lolly sack for you.
I know. I mean, I'd prefer not to rape too. It's just that it's a really complex situation, and this is B. I figured I'd stick it in her pooper out of the way to get more productive responses. She have no relatives or anything? If you manage to adopt and breed her into a quality B-tard, you've done the world a great service anyway. Hell, you could probably have a tear-jerking bestseller written about it too. That, based on real story stamp, will make it sell 500,000 examples in one day. Then you marry her and buy 4chan of Doug and found your own kingdom, expand all over the world, and when you die at the age of 160, you'll have your hot, quarter Japanese lolly grandchildren at your bed crying, and the entire world will mourn the first king of Terra. Think of what you'll be missing if you don't adopt her. Well, I guess I have to try, at least. I'll bring her something Christmassy tonight. She's been getting especially depressed since the facility started putting up decorations a week ago. Poor kid. Good way to see how receptive she is to interacting with me outside emergencies, too. Not sure what'd be appropriate or disposable enough, though. I know you're hardly the people to ask about appropriate anything, but any ideas, B? It's too late for a Christmas advent calendar. Love those stupid things. Maybe a Christmas orange chocolate, the ones you get to whack really hard? If candy is against the rules, even better, just go shh and tell her not to let the other staff know she has it. Here, the troll from a previous comment ignites a shitstorm of argument over the worthiness of this thread. Hilarity ensues.
Get the fuck out of my 4chan Gaia fags. And pictures.
If it bothers you so much, then maybe you should go to Gaia, because one little thread out of 100 in B alone, and only then for a couple of hours, annoying the fucking hell out of you means you're too sensitive for the crap that gets thrown about in B anyway. After all, we are in actuality the same person. This thread was getting epic. Why you always gotta fuck shit up, Anonymous? This is why we can't have nice things. Heart, Biko, but I think the spam has scared off the OP. Nice going, idiots. No, I'm still here. I was just grabbing something from the kitchen. Cute attempt at internet dramas with the flooding, though. And I'm the cancer that is killing B? Please. And for the record, I had actually thought about the red prosthetic eye thing myself once, embarrassed as I am to admit it. I'm not that big of a Rosen though she will have some delicious pros joints. B is the cancer that is killing you. First appearance of Desu Girl. Befriend her, then fuck her when she's out, if she ever gets out. 1. You get sex with her. 2. You get to have pretty much all the sex you want with her. 3. You don't risk losing your job because you raped the patient. You didn't end it with Desu. That's because I'm OP's girlfriend from Future. He just made me look like that Suisei Seki girl from that Rosen anime. Yeah, I'm the cripple and this is the year 2026. I have delicious pros joints and all. I don't end my sentences with Desu when he's not home because even after all these years, it feels sort of silly. You would fuck with her head even more. That's fucked up, B. I hate you. Oh, come on. I and OP are going to be happy together. Can a half-Japanese chick even have blonde hair and green eyes? Sure they can. I mean, I've seen one myself, in her room. Apparently, her father was almost stereotypically Scandinavian. Bright blonde hair, blue eyes, 6 foot plus, etc. She's still got pretty clearly Japanese-y features, mostly, luckily, of the cute kind, not the oh god, I see why the men raped Nanking kind, but most of her coloration is equally pretty clearly from his side of the family. Her skin is somewhere in between a pale Japanese and a pale, rather than goldish, fjordish. Frankly, I'd say she won the genetic lottery. Too bad about the non-predetermined alterations. The rest of her body that didn't get cut away is just perfect.
This is the perfect example of what it is to be a B-tard.
Rape is bad though, and having sex with a 7-year-old permanently damages them, so don't actually go through with it.
Wouldn't want to damage the one with all the amputations and mental problems, I guess.
So OP, have you already determined your course of action? Okay, OP here. I won't be poopering her in the foreseeable future. I mean, when B can come down at least in the slight minority against doing a barrel roll into a lolly, it clearly isn't the right course of action, though I guess I did know that already. I really wish I could get you guys a recording of her voice. She doesn't have an accent because she was born and raised here in America, and her mother, the Japanese half, comes from a long line of Japanese Americans who disowned her, I guess, when she married Mr. Swedish Meatball because Lolly's relatives/contact information is non-existent, just social workers. But her voice, well, it's just the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard when she first spoke to me about the wheelchair. Even as flat and brusque as it was like hearing an angel whisper hymns, and I still get goosebumps every time I've heard it since. I can't wait for tonight. I think I should bring her something else, maybe a tiny little keychain-sized stuffed doll or something, or maybe a little wristband. Any other ideas, guys? A little stuffed doll could be a nice gift, though if you could get away with it with the administration, give her a normal-sized teddy bear or something. If she blushes in an innocent way from simple human touch after her parents have been killed and her body maimed, then either she has the willpower of 10 men, or her priorities are somewhat screwy. She's also biting orderlies and speaking less than 3 words a day, and it was the fact that he had to hold her in the bathroom so she could take a fucking piss, not a simple touch. You make a good point though, Anonymous. I have to admit, she didn't seem to get all that distressed until she may have possibly noticed me looking down there, which I quickly stopped doing, just before I caught her looking away as well, out of my peripheral vision. I was being pretty unprofessional, it's true, since I'd never had any inclination to look at any other of my patients taking a piss before, but then, half of my patients before her were independents, and the other half, well, I prayed for their merciful deaths every time. She's not a robot or animuishly designed to be the perfect cold-hearted Ray clone. She's a real girl.
Don't give her pizza, 'cause Lolly hate pizza.
I'll bring it up at next week's meeting. Perhaps a possibility of allowing individual gifts, with the potential that it could improve her morale with the rest of the patients to grandparent her a bit. Well, the non-racists anyways. This is just for tonight. Baby steps.
You do know how epic it would be if you were to post a picture of her here, right? It would instantly become a 4chan legend. Anonymous declares this as a fact.
Look, I tried to post a longer version, but it disappeared, so I'll sum it up for all you cunts. Someone in a professional caretaking role for a child taking a picture of that child, clothed or not, then posting it on the internet, is a bad idea. This is not even taking into account her particular uniqueness, since by the time that picture has made its way around the internets, finally winding up on some disabled children's charity or advocacy group, someone will have wondered who she is and where it came from. And being as unique as she is, they will find her. Then they will wonder who took the picture, and they will find me. And at that point, clothed or no, innocent or no, I will be fucked in ways too numerous to mention for the rest of my life, whether I am ever charged or convicted of anything. Think about it, people. A true wow response. To the OP, I'm in a similar situation. My older sister is 20 years old. When she was 18, she was involved in a car crash which resulted in her becoming a vegetable. My mother divorced, and at night when my mother goes to work, I have to bathe my mentally retarded sister, and while bathing her, I can't resist but to just finger her until she comes in the bath. I can't help it. I know it's wrong, but it's the biggest turn on ever. I hope the FBI or someone nabs your sick ass. It's sick fuckers like you who should end up in Guantanamo Bay. After her life has been snatched from her, you wish to endure more suffering upon her? Do yourself a favor. Admit yourself to the nearest mental ward, huh? Dude, this story makes me sick. Seriously sick. You need serious help if you are fantasizing about raping a 7-year-old girl. Actually, it's too bad this site has so many fucking pedophiles on here. Some of the stuff is good, but this other stuff needs some attention. I'll make sure to drop a note about this inappropriate activity. Frankly, all of you fucking wannabes that are all up in arms over my situation need to take a step back and take a good hard look at both it and at your mindless idealism. Yeah, in an ideal world, she wouldn't be in the situation she's in. Why do bad things happen to good people? She certainly didn't deserve to have her parents taken away, any more than she deserved to lose her limbs, or she deserved to have her psyche fractured into 1,000 pieces by the trauma of both those events. But they did. And she did. And what does life hold for her now? People in social work don't want to admit it, but people like her are completely fucked for the rest of their lives. No honest foster family honestly wants to deal with someone like her, because they're normal human beings, even the saintly ones. It's just too hard. They'd fail, and she'd get sent back into institutional care, with a mark on her record regarding her rejection, which would make it even more likely anyone else would accept her next time. And after this process repeats itself a few times, if the first or subsequent attempts ever happened at all, she'd wind up in institutional care again, permanently. Probably before she even turns 10 years old. And once she's there until she's 18 at least. Another 8 years of no love, no affection, minimal contact, surrounded by senile and angry and sad old people and distant caretakers. Maybe she'll get sent to a school for special needs children, assuming they find one that'll take her, with her ever-increasing behavioral problems. And they will increase. The more she's emotionally neglected, it's a guarantee with the sort of problems she has. Even if she masters her legs and arms, even if she can use the bathroom by herself, her life will be an ongoing empty pain that will only grow with every year. Odds are good that she'd find a way to kill herself, with her intelligence and impressive willpower, before she's 15. So what's your solution? Magically turn back time to make the accident not have happened? Magically heal her mind so that her body's imperfections alone are less likely to destroy her future? Maybe you could magically heal them both, and she'd probably adopt it right away. There is no magic. The world doesn't work like that. She has no future, not a future she deserves anyways. The fact of the matter is that I'm probably her best chance for a future worth living, one way or another. You may not want to admit it, but it's the truth. Go fuck the holes you cut in your son's dolls and cry yourself to sleep over the injustices of the world if you aren't strong enough to face them. Voice actor's note. This was posted in a separate thread that was posted after the original thread went overboard. I need to get ready for dinner, then hit the mall before heading into work. Need to pick up that stuff for her that I'd mentioned. Wish me luck, guys, and thanks for the productive advice I was given. Food for thought. The rest of you fucks can go fuck yourselves.